What happens when Mendeecees' character Harris is slammed by reality more forcefully than anything else? It never occurred to him that he would have to answer this question in a way that nobody had expected. When Mendeecees learned through a DNA test that his son was his biological father, he was horrified. He was stunned to learn of Yandy's infidelity and was forced to reevaluate all of his presumptions regarding his family and future. He found something far more gloomy than anyone could have imagined. During this dramatic collapse, Mendeecees is forced to face the truth, and the revelations that follow will shock you. Pay close attention because what comes next will absolutely upend everything and is not simply a betrayal. In the reality TV industry, Mendeecees Harris and Yandy Smith have long been one of the most popular couples. Their romance originally surfaced on Love and Hip Hop New York years ago, marking the beginning of their voyage. Seemed invincible, and their admirers witnessed them get beyond several challenges, such as M's legal troubles and the highs and lows of their mixed family. As they went through the highs and lows of life together, Yandy was always there for M's in ways that viewers found charming. They came to represent perseverance and showed that love could overcome adversity. But when Moses learned, it was a pivotal moment in their relationship that would eventually put the trust they had developed over the preceding many months to the test. Given everything he had already experienced, the stakes could not have been greater, and Yandy could not bear the emotional toll of the test, which was more than simply a medical process. It was an expression of the brittle trust that had started to disintegrate between them. There is no denying the emotional toll this exam took, and it set the stage for the heartbreaking disclosures that were about to occur. It seemed as though time had stopped as Mendeecees Harris sat there reading the DNA test results. For a moment, he couldn't understand the reality since his heart was heavy with anguish and uncertainty, and his mind was racing. The impact was as powerful as a ton of bricks. The test revealed that the child he had been raising as his own was not biologically his, and he had never expected such a betrayal. The paper wasn't the only thing. The shock of becoming a father, he had always believed in the family they had built together and trusted Yandy, so the news shocked him. It was more than just the DNA now that the foundation was crumbling beneath him. Mendeecees' private life, as well as the dynamics of their entire family, would be affected by this betrayal, which had far-reaching repercussions. Moses was overcome with sorrow as he processed the news. What took place? I trusted her, trusted our family. His relationship with Yandy and their kids, the sacrifices he made, and their years of love were the main topics of the study. His face was etched with skepticism, and his voice carried the pain as he spoke. More important than the result itself was the emotional toll the DNA test would eventually have on him and his family as a life he thought he knew was being unraveled. As if the disclosure wasn't enough, Mendeecees was soon charged with a more serious offense. I was really saddened to learn of his adultery, not just because of the betrayal, but also because Yandy had always believed that their love was solid. He was unaware that it might. Something wasn't quite right, so Mendeecees started to piece things together. He had watched Yandy change, how far away she was getting, how she would sometimes vanish for hours at a time without telling him why. He initially tried to write it off as stress or life obligations, but as the nagging sensation intensified, he finally couldn't get rid of the sense that someone had vanished. Mendeecees was overcome with emotion after finding indisputable evidence of Yandy's adultery in the form of emails, chats, and other contact. It all came as a shock to him. How could the person he trusted, the mother of his children, betray him in this manner? Fury, betrayal, and bewilderment, the adultery and Yandy's account of events stemmed from his realization that the life he had built with Yandy was based on deception. The story was a mystery for many years. Rumor had it that the strains in their relationship, the unresolved problems, and the constant media attention were the reasons behind her actions. Although Yandy acknowledged that she felt emotionally distant and alone, which might have influenced her behavior, it was unclear whether this was an indication of weakness or a more serious issue in their relationship. Yandy responded to the charges with a mixture of regret and defensiveness. Although she expressed regret for the grief she had caused me, she also made it clear that she did not believe her behavior was the only factor in their marriage's breakdown. She pointed out that it wasn't one-sided and said that more significant issues at work were the root of her infidelity. "We were both in pain in different ways, and maybe I had made mistakes," she said. But in reality, Mies was completely caught off guard. His entire world had been turned upside down, and his faith in Yandy had been shattered. The affair was only one aspect of the years of dishonesty and the emotional toll it took on him. After the dust settled, the couple was forced to work through the broken pieces of their relationship with no way out. As their relationship came to an end, Yandy was overcome with feelings of betrayal and loss due to Mies's awful reaction to the DNA test findings and the charges of infidelity. He had built a life with Yandy and trusted her completely, yet the situation was daunting. Their relationship was gone now that the truth was out. Mendeecees struggled to understand the pain. He was divided between a deep sense of betrayal and affection for his family as a result of the emotional scars caused by the paternity test. In addition to Yandy's infidelity, the revelations caused a great deal of pain and confusion. As more details about their private lives came to light, the public's reaction simply served to fan the flames. Mendeecees and Yandy faced harsh scrutiny and criticism from both admirers and critics after being seen as icons of strength and solidarity. Many people questioned the sincerity of their relationship, which hurt their reputation tremendously. Some admirers felt sorry for him because they thought he was a victim who had been duped. Even while some people believed Yandy was to blame for her actions, many admirers took to social media to voice their anger. As well as anger about Yandy's behavior, others supported her by highlighting the strains they both experienced and the problems in their relationship. But the controversy also affected their familial ties. It's unclear how much the children knew at the time about how emotionally taxing their family was, given that they had grown up in a reasonably safe environment before suddenly having to deal with the consequences of their parents' troubles. Friends and relatives took sides because they couldn't ignore the public uproar over Mendeecees, which caused extended family members to become estranged. He was especially affected by the consequences since, on top of being wounded by Yandy's treachery, he now had to contend with public opinion. His supporters began to doubt him, and the strain of upholding his public image made matters worse. His involvement in the breakdown, Yandy received criticism as well as offers of support and encouragement from some of her admirers. Some fans were harsh and accused her of betraying Mies and their family, while others sympathized with her and understood the difficulties in their relationship. On social media, as fans and followers used hashtags to dissect every facet of the situation, the news generated a lot of attention. Everyone was watching the couple carefully, and there was a lot of excitement. There was disagreement among the public. Some thought Mendeecees had been tricked and supported him. One thing was certain, even though some took a more nuanced approach, doubting the necessity of the public revelations and the mechanics of their relationship. The story had caught the public's attention, and the DNA test and the infidelity disclosures would have an impact on the public. Mendeecees was emotionally affected by the experience for a long time, and while his response was strong, it was understandable in light of the situation. The unexpected discovery of Yandy's adultery surprised and humiliated him once he found out that his son Pat was being investigated. All relationships are built on trust, and for Mendy, that trust had been broken in an instant. The DNA test findings weren't the only thing that hurt him. The DNA test results showed long-suspected rifts in Mendeecees and Yandy's marriage, in addition to a paternity issue. Although the paternity question was the catalyst, the breakdown of trust and communication seemed to be the underlying cause. The years of emotional investment, love, and trust that now seemed meaningless to have his family, his life, and his heart called into question were a devastating blow, and his reaction reflected the magnitude of that infidelity. This was a larger issue that had been brewing beneath the surface, not just one slip-up or lie between them. The public disclosures were just the start of the adultery, which was an indication of more serious problems in their marriage. Whether they were emotional or physical, it not only exacerbated their emotional suffering, but also caused them to question whether their relationship had been based on solid principles or on illusions that were now failing in the eyes of the public. It goes without saying that the situation involving Yandy and me is not unique to cases of infidelity and other celebrities. Public conflicts have put many famous relationships in danger of being destroyed. The public's capacity to track the breakdown at every turn and the transparency of the emotions involved, however, are different in their case. Personal issues are often turned into publicly available content in the realm of celebrities. The same thing happened. The public exposure of Mendeecees' personal misery now added to his emotional toll. In many respects, the situation highlights the challenges of maintaining a private life in the spotlight and the demands of being in a well-known relationship. Adultery in relationships, whether or not it involves celebrities, has important and far-reaching repercussions since it often reveals more serious marital issues like neglect. Mendeecees and Yandy are forced to confront the adultery and their growing emotional distance as a result of the public disclosures. It serves as a sobering reminder that problems can arise in even the most ideal relationships and that occasionally the foundation deteriorates before the harm is done. Unsolved personal problems, unfulfilled emotional needs, or a failure to communicate the emotional roller coaster that Mendeecees has experienced since learning of Yandy's infidelity and the paternity test results has utterly upended his life. Even if it's difficult to predict what the future holds for Mendeecees and Yandy, the betrayal and grief are still very much present. Will their relationship end as a result of this, or might it serve as a springboard for a reconciliation? Everything will never be the same again since the trust that once underpinned their collaboration has been shattered. The next stage of their life will be determined by their future paths after their split. But the most crucial query is whether Mendeecees should try to go on and forgive Yandy, or if this treachery is too much to handle. Please use the space below to express your thoughts. First, let's talk about whether love can heal from betrayal or if some scars are too deep to heal.